Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
And the University of Oregon comes to Utah for College GameDay.
If you are part of the 95% of our audience that is not subscribed, please consider doing so. Thank you.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on over to the Utes versus, the Utes are bringing in Oregon, welcoming in the Oregon Ducks.
Yes, sir. Obviously, College GameDay is going to be here. So this is huge, man. This is a big-time game for Utah. This is the biggest one of the year so far. I think that Utah stands a very good chance against this Oregon Ducks team. And I think they are probably one of the most balanced teams in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Ultra talented. Oregon's a top 10 recruiting team every single year. They're loaded from top to bottom. But I still think Utah wins.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll definitely get into that. Oregon is favored by 6.5 points. Oregon's going to be Oregon. So it's going to come down to how Utah's going to perform in this one and how they're going to set the tone, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Can Utes force the negative plays? Can the Utes stop Bucky Irving? Can they get turnover plays? Right. That's really what my key to this game is. But what I'd like to really hear from you, last week you talked about the USC game and the stat that you felt played in the Utes' favor to help them drive them to a win. And I have to say, my friend, you were spot on that one. So congratulations. Take your victory lap there. There you go. And why don't you go ahead and give it to us this? Do you have a stat for why Utah beats Oregon this week?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And it is also very, very similar to the reason that I thought they were going to beat USC.
Okay.
So Oregon currently has the number 2 ranked offense in the country. Within that number 2 ranked offense, they have the number 6 rushing offense and the number 8 passing offense in the country. So they're a very good offensive football team. They can put it on, right? However, the defenses that they have currently faced, again, not super impressive. Portland State, they win 81-7. They're not ranked. That's an FCS team.
Right.
Texas Tech with the 59th ranked offense. That was their second game. They win that game 38-30. And that is the best defense they've faced so far this year was Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So the defenses in order are Hawaii at 82, Colorado at 130, Stanford at 127, Washington at 83, Washington State at 115. And now they are coming to Utah to face a Utah team that has won 18 straight at home.
Right.
And they've won 29 of their last 30 with the number 14 ranked defense in the country. Oregon has not faced anybody like this Utah defense yet.
Mm-hmm.
They just haven't seen it. So the Oregon defense on the other side of the ball, the Oregon defense is also very good. They're the number 20 ranked defense in the country. But I feel like that number is a little bit skewed as well. I mean, the offenses they've ranked were 57, 83, 38, 84. They did have that game against Washington against the number 4 ranked offense, but they lose that game.
Right.
Utah obviously has not been an offensive powerhouse in this game or in this league yet. So over the last 2 games, Utah's averaged 443 yards per game in the last 2.
Okay.
That would be good for a top 30 offense in the country, which would actually be better than most of the offenses that they've faced so far this year.
Okay.
So if Utah can keep the production going, if Bryson Barnes can continue to be successful and rear back and throw the ball down the field, make these linebackers respect you, we can keep it going with Sione Vaki and we can keep rushing the ball. Utah has a chance to win this game. I'm telling you, Utah is number 1 in the country in time of possession.
Yeah.
That's how we win this football game.
Nice.
You have to keep Bo Nix and Bucky Irving on the sideline, just like we did against Kalen Williams. Don't give them a chance to beat you. Let that defense out there. I love it, dude. I love the odds. I think that some of these Oregon numbers for their offensive and defensive rating are a little bit inflated because of the competition that they faced. The one tough team that they played, they lost to. And they haven't played a defense like Utah yet.
No, they haven't. There are a few things that kind of skew that a little bit for Oregon there that makes it a little different than last week. Obviously, Caleb Williams is the returning Heisman Trophy winner.
Mm-hmm.
However, did you hear about Bo Nix? Did you hear about this guy?
Yeah, I've heard of Bo Nix a little bit.
Did you hear the most recent thing about him? Is that he's on record to set the most games started in college football history?
I think he said it last week.
That was last week.
Yeah, I think last week. I think he is currently the most games started holder in college football history.
With like half the season left.
Yeah.
Well, like a third. But,
but he's like a 7th-year player, man.
Yeah. Jeez, man. When I saw that, I'm like, wow, talk about experience, man. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'd have to agree with you there, man. I think that's fantastic. I really like when you bring your facts to the fight like that and break it down because, the defense versus offense, that kind of matters when you rank it up against what defense and offense you're playing against.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's huge.
I just think they're inflated. And don't get me wrong. Bo Nix is number 1 of the country for pass completion percentage.
Mm-hmm.
He throws at like 76%, dude. He doesn't miss very often, but they do a lot of those short screen passes out to Bucky Irving that are high percentage throws. And I mean, Bucky Irving's the number 26 in the country for rushing yards. So this dude, he pounds the ball. Again, though, they have not faced a rushing defense like Utah's. I'm curious to see. I mean, Bucky Irving with his number 26 in the country only averages like 87 yards per game, which is great. But if that's the only offensive running production you get, Utah wins.
My game plan for Oregon is I think what they're going to come in and do is they're going to basically try to shut down the run game. Keep Quentin Jackson in check, and
they're going to try to make Bryson Barnes beat him.
And that's exactly what's going to, I think is going to happen. I think you're going to have, I mean, obviously against USC, he had probably the best game of his career so far.
Absolutely.
But I don't think that we've seen the best out of him yet.
Well, he's also taken first team reps for 2 weeks in a row before that USC game, right? He's actually been the number 1 quarterback. He's actually gotten to some rhythm with some of these players. Obviously, Sione Vaki has absolutely exploded onto the scene.
Speaking of which, where does that guy play?
Safety.
Sure. When you Google him, you'll say he plays safety.
Absolutely a safety, man.
Sure. Gosh, that guy is all over the place, man. You see him in different.
You know why he's so difficult to guard? Because he plays out of that running back spot, dude.
Exactly.
And as he comes out of the backfield, if they try to guard him with a linebacker, there is not a linebacker in the conference that has a chance at staying up with him on any of those wheel routes, dude.
No.
There's just not. I mean, you're just not fast enough. So unless you're going to try to cheat a safety off or cheat a safety down to try to stay with him in open field, I mean, at that point, like all you're going to do is toss the ball to him and be like, run this dude over. You're a safety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He's big. He's a big, strong guy. So I love the Sione Vaki matchup.
I love the Sione Vaki.
He's fast. He has great hands. He was an offensive player in high school.
Yeah. Which is it's insane. Like when I'm looking at this up, I was researching the game last week and I was you were talking about how many times you saw him playing out of standard position for a safety. I'm like, wait a minute. I started doing some research and all the talking heads are talking about how this guy doesn't play safety. Like he plays like 3 other different positions. I'm just like, well, impressive nonetheless. But yeah, you're right. I mean, 29 out of 30 games on the Hill, like you said.
And their one loss was in the 2020 season with everybody hurt and it was horrible and it was a terrible season anyway.
Yeah. Everybody knows 2020 doesn't count unless you're a Dodgers fan.
Thank you. Unless you're a Lakers fan. So I don't know, man. Utah's going to be tough. I'm lucky enough to be at the Oregon game this week, so I'm super excited to be there. It's going to be excellent.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to it. Also, let us know what you're expecting out of the Oregon Ducks this week. All right, folks. So once again, thank you for watching this. We're wrapping it up here for this episode of the DNA Sports Recap. Keep in mind, this is available as a podcast, as a video podcast right here on this YouTube channel. Our only playlist we have is our video podcast. You'll be able to see this full episode in its entirety. Playlist will be on that side of the screen on the end card.
Yep. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like it, make sure you share it, and make sure you subscribe. We're on the grind to 1,000 subscribers. So please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button.
Absolutely. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. 5 subscribers will each get $100 each. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that. With that said, folks, my name is Darren. This is AJ, and this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.